Hello everyone, today I want to talk about the current war on emulation that's going on. Now, the war on emulation has been going for years, but recently there's some stuff that's happened that's kind of making it crop up again in a big way, and I want to go over that, and I also want to go over Nintendo and why I don't like their business practices when it comes to stuff like targeting emulation and fan works. So I'm going to go ahead and get into what's happened over the past week, and we will talk about the other stuff that Nintendo has done that I am not a fan of. So first up, Vimm's Lair. June 6th, they say Vimm's Lair has been asked to remove many games from the vault on behalf of Nintendo, Sega, Lego, and the ESA. While most of these games and the hardware to play them haven't been sold in decades, ultimately it's their prerogative, so these games are now gone for good. Now what does that mean? You can still download other games for GameCube, so if I want to go here and search like WWE Day of Reckoning, I can download it. If I want to go over here and search Super Smash Bros. Melee, it says download unavailable at the request of the Entertainment Software Association. Now what I don't get is Smash Bros. Melee is a 2001 game. It's not been in the market for 20 years, so I don't understand why Nintendo cares if people are downloading and playing Super Smash Bros. Because if somebody is buying Super Smash Bros., it's not going to benefit them in any way. So, like, if I wanted to go buy Super Smash Bros., for a used copy, it's like $50 to $60. $60 disc only, $150 complete in box. There is a disc only, but it's for repair for $25. Tested and working, $60. So you're paying new game prices for a 24-year-old game at this point, or 23-year-old game. I don't understand why Nintendo cares that you're playing these older games if they're not going to see a penny of the profit that you would give to the person that's going to give you the game. It makes no sense. They're not selling the game anymore. Why do they care if people play their game? Now, not only that, but I would have to buy a GameCube. So let's go over here for GameCube. If I want a GameCube with two controllers, $150. Let's look at other listings here. $60 for one controller. There's a Wii console only, no cords, $20. So let's just say I wanted to get the bundle with two controllers and then Smash Brothers. I am spending $210 fucking dollars to play a game that was released in 2001. That doesn't make sense because Nintendo does not offer the game anywhere for you to buy. I don't understand why they care if you download and play the game. Now, there are some people that will say that it's stealing from the people who are offering the games on eBay. I don't think that's true either because there is always a collector's market. Right when Persona 5 was coming out, I bought this for $40, and guess what? Now it's going for around $180. So I buy games to collect physical copies because if I really enjoy the game, I want to own it physically. Now, for somebody who is hard on, they don't have as much money, but they still want to play the game, or let's say they have a normal amount of money, they can buy 2 or 3 games a month. Well, some of these games have such ridiculous prices that you would have to literally save for an entire fucking year to play the game. So, for instance, if I wanted to play Snatcher for Sega CD, $880 for disc only, $1,000 for a complete in box. And that's not even counting the Sega CD console, which Sega CD consoles cost a lot of money too. So if I wanted to just play Snatcher without emulation, I want to play it completely legit, I'm paying almost $1,300 fucking dollars to play Snatcher. Or I can go online, download a Sega CD emulator, download Snatcher, and play the fucking game. Because Kojima and Konami are not going to see any of that money. Sega's not going to see any of that money. I don't understand why they care. And for the people that want to own a physical copy and have a legit copy to display and play on original hardware, that's what eBay's for. But if you're not offering the game for sale, why do you care if people are playing it? It makes no sense to me. And another thing that I want to get into is People don't seem to understand, some people don't understand, that physical media is finite. Like, my discs, I keep my disc in fairly good condition, and guess what? I have so many games, like I have like 3 or 4 games, that have disc rotted to the point that I can't even play them anymore. Because as soon as you have a puncture in that protective layer, you're going to have disc rot issues. And guess what? If nobody was backing up their game, and nobody had emulators on the internet, then those games that have disc rot, once all of the copies in the world are gone, and there's no alternative, so for something that has like movie license issues, where for some reason they can't negotiate the licenses anymore, those games are just gone forever. And I hate seeing artwork be destroyed for no reason, when there's an easy alternative, and that easy alternative is backing up your game and downloading an emulator and playing it. It makes no sense why these games should be taken down. Now, that's not the only thing Nintendo has done over the past few years that have pissed me off, so I'm going to go over another one. And this is kind of related. So in 2020, Nintendo shut down a Super Smash Bros. Tournament for using mods to play online. Because during 2020, COVID happened, lockdowns happened, and people weren't able to meet up in person. So obviously they had to find a way to play online. They were going to use the Dolphin emulator with an online plug-in to play each other. I don't understand why that's a problem. Nintendo had a problem with it because they're the anti-fun. They're anti-fun. They're the fun police. They don't want their consumers to actually have fun with their products. They hate their consumers. They hate their fans. And they don't want them to have any fun. So what happened after this? Well, Splatoon players, rightfully so, took the side of the Smash Brothers players. And guess what? Nintendo canceled an entire Splatoon tournament over that. Which is bullshit. Again, Nintendo hates their consumers and they hate their fans. For some reason. Now, this isn't the first time this has happened. Back in 2018... Emu Paradise, another one of the biggest, ROM sites back in the day, were getting a DMCA from Nintendo and they decided to pull their entire library down. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, Nintendo's also done stuff like taking down fan games. So AM2R, which is another Metroid 2 remake, released in 2016, and immediately afterwards Nintendo hit it with the DMCA for some reason. And a lot of people speculate it's because they were making Samus Returns at the time, which was another Metroid 2 remake alongside the another Metroid 2 remake. And Nintendo, for some reason, thought that this was going to cut into their profits, and I don't understand why, because they were completely different styles, and both of them are worth playing. So I don't get why Nintendo cared that AM2R was getting released, but for some reason they did, and they decided to take it down. And then finally, earlier this year, Nintendo also took down decades of Nintendo-related Garry's Mod add-ons. And I don't understand that one either, because with Garry's Mod, it's literally a physics sandbox. All it was like character models and stuff, and this is like free promotion. People who are playing the game and using these models that might not have played a Nintendo game, they're going to see them in the game, and they're going to be like, hey, maybe I want to play the game that's in. Like, I don't get why that needs to be taken down. It makes no sense. So, that's why I have had a bone to pick with Nintendo for years. I hate Nintendo as a company. I love their games. And that's the sad thing is, I want to love Nintendo as a company, because when I look at what the other companies are doing, like PlayStation and Xbox, I think the Switch is the best console of the past 2 generations. So, out of your Wii U, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch, I think the Switch is the best. I love the Switch. So many good games, probably one of the best game libraries of all time, and it's an amazing piece of hardware. But I hate Nintendo, and I want to love Nintendo. They make it so hard to love them. And they want to say like, oh, well, you can always sign up for Nintendo Switch Online to play our classic games. But they don't even have their entire catalog on there. and they're drip feeding it like once every couple of months. They'll add a game or two. So that's not really a viable option for most of their older games. And it just doesn't make sense to me why Nintendo hates emulation so much. And what's funny is in the past they were caught on the Super Nintendo Classic, I believe, using a ROM that was downloaded from a ROM site. So it's not like they don't use it too. It's just, I don't understand why emulation is so, like, controversial and gone after by Nintendo and other companies. Because if you're not selling the game, why do you care if people are playing the game? If you want money for the game, make the game available again. I will gladly pay $20 to $30 for just a straight re-release of F-Zero GX. I would pay $20, $30 for a straight re-release of Smash Bros. Melee. You don't even have to upscale it. If you just dropped it on the Switch with emulator support, like save states and stuff, I would pay like $20, $20 to $30. But when you don't have an alternative to buy the game, and the only people that are going to be making the money are the collectors, I don't understand why you're so mad at people who just want to play the games that they love. It makes no sense, and it's also the only way games are going to be preserved in the future. Because when you look at other mediums, when you look at movies, movies are easy to preserve. It's a video file. You can rip the video file. You can watch it on almost anything. With gaming, it's different. If I want to play an NES game, not only do I need the NES game file, I need the emulator that kind of mimics the hardware that it was made for. And each different console has so much different hardware in it that emulators have to be coded completely differently, of course. So it's not viable to go and buy a 20 to 30-year-old machine that could break down at any moment because it's 30 years old to play a game that's $50 to $80 when back then, you know, not even 10 years ago, you'd be able to find it for $5 at a store. But because used game prices have ballooned so much, now you're paying $80 for a mediocre game that you just want to experience. Like, I don't know. It makes no sense. I don't get it. But that's just the way it is. Now, in the future, I really wish there would be a ruling on this with the courts where they would say if a game is not being actively sold, then people can share files of it. But if it ever gets to the point where it's being actively sold again, then it's no longer okay to share the files. I would love a law like that on the books. Like maybe 5 years after a game is out of circulation, then sharing the files is okay. As soon as they put it back in circulation, it will go until it's out of circulation, and 5 years after that, then you can start sharing it again. Something like that. Just, we need something that will make it easier to preserve the games we know and love. Because I want to be able to sit down with my kids and play my NES and SNES and N64 games. But the thing is, as time goes on, these consoles and this hardware and these games are not going to be around forever. And the only way that my kids are going to be able to enjoy some of these games is through the magic of emulation. So, that's all I have to say. If you like the video, please leave a like and comment. Tell me what you think about emulation. Are you pro emulation? Are you against emulation? I've heard plenty of people against emulation for whatever reason, and I can never understand the arguments against emulation. But still, if you're someone who's against emulation, go ahead and say so down in the comments. If you dislike the video, please go ahead and dislike, but leave a comment and tell me what I can improve on. Can I improve on my speaking? Can I improve on my presentation? Do I need a better camera? I know I need a better camera. So let me know what I can improve on. That way I can make better videos for everybody in the future. And then subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I will see you guys in the next video.